Hello and welcome back to Real Estate Today. I'm your host, Laura Harbison, broker-owner of Realty Executives Southern Nevada Properties. And I have Matt Hennessy here, mortgage advisor with Benchmark Mortgage, to continue our talk about mortgage rates and how they work and things that should be on your mind. Now, I've been getting a lot of calls, especially with, after the Fed, announced that they were bringing down the interest rate, and everybody wants to know, is now the time to buy? Is now not the time to buy? And so we definitely have some thoughts and some advice with regards to that.
Yeah. I think the majority of our clients, yours and mine over the years, have somewhat put buying or selling their properties on hold for a moment, waiting to see how the market was going to play out. My favorite question I ask all my clients in the very beginning is, what keeps you up at night from either stepping into this market? Any concerns you overall have? And I'm sure you get the same questions specifically about listing a property, let alone, hey, is this the right time to purchase a property? And the guidance we always want to do is first listen, what are those concerns, and then address them. And the first one is always, is now the right time to purchase a property?
Right.
And they would always ask, hey, should I wait a little bit of time? Maybe rates will go lower in the future.
Right.
And there's some drawbacks. There's some pros and cons to each. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's next to impossible to time the market. I mean, nobody has the real crystal ball, but we can put some common sense approach to it. We think about, there's more to your purchase than just the interest rate, and everybody calls and says, well, what's the interest rate? And, I'm going to wait. When interest rates were hitting, 4.5, I had so many people tell me, I'm going to wait for the interest rates to go back down, back down to 3. Well, okay, but when's that going to happen? Is that going to happen? That type of thing. But what has happened in the meantime, obviously, is interest rates haven't gone back to 3, and property values have continued to increase. So when you look at the bigger picture and you say, okay, well, my payment is how much am I borrowing and at what interest rate? So how much am I borrowing is based on what's the sales price of the house. So we still have a lot of people on the fence, waiting, watching those interest rates.
Sure. And
one of the things that I've tried to explain to people is, well, let's say the interest rates do come down in the spring, as everybody's hoping they will. Well, what will happen? Well, everybody who's been waiting will jump into the market, and aren't prices about supply and demand? So the more buyers you have trying to get the same house, the more you're going to pay for that house, and therefore negate the savings of the interest rate.
Without a doubt. I mean, mortgage rates don't move in a straight line. We'll get some dips and then it'll shoot right back up. And I can tell you the time that the media throws out there, because obviously they're trying to get your eyeballs to pay attention. Sometimes we'll see, mortgage rates had dropped, and then the conversations begin. There's, sometimes of a disconnect of, hey, I'll wait for something better in the future. Yet I could tell you from, recent, history is when we had a shortage of inventory and rates did drop and everybody stepped into the market at the same time, right? That's supply and demand. So if there's more buyers that are ready and able to purchase a property, just waiting for rates to come back down, it's going to paint a picture similar to what we experienced in the recent past, which is, a lot of competition. Sometimes you have to, step outside your comfort zone to get into a contract, where in today's times, I have the opportunity to lock in the price of a property today. And if I lock in the price of a property today, regardless of what my interest rate is, barring the fact that you're comfortable with the payment today and in the future, God forbid anything was to never change. But if you were to get into the property today and mortgage rates trend lower, like most are expecting, we're probably going to have more of an opportunity for us to rewrite that mortgage to a lower payment. And I think that is probably the most, concerning conversation we have for our clients, because I could tell you is if values continue to go back up, regardless of what rates do, that's going to cost you more in the future than if you were to at least have the conversation today, see if it's in your best interest.
Because you can get a do-over on your mortgage,
Absolutely.
But not a do-over on the sales price.
Very true.
Yeah, nobody's going to go back and roll back that price for you. So we did. So when asked the question, when should I buy? Well, if you need a home, there's no time like the present, and when you're not competing with as many buyers, because that's only inevitable as the rates come down. All the people that were waiting, are now they're trying to compete for the same homes at the same sales prices, and we do still have relatively low inventory, even though the inventory has come up some, and that's natural for this time of year, especially, the age restricted communities. We tend to see more activity in the fall and the spring versus the non-age restricted properties. We see more activity in the summertime, and that's just because of natural cycles. If you're retired, are you going to be out when it's 117 if you don't have to? Probably not. But other people may have other concerns, school cycles and all kinds of things. So, it does make, and plus we have the extra bonus this year of it being an election year. Every 4 years, I see that cycle repeat where people, as we get closer to the election, people kind of pull back. They kind of hold back a little bit and wait. And then once the election is over, then we always have a little boom, right after that. So,
sure. It's similar to the holidays where, hey, I'm going to not want to have individuals in my house during the holidays, or maybe it slows down and I'll pick up in January. We've always looked for the data to see if there was something specific during an election year, whether we, have, the sitting president versus the individual looking to get in the office, if there's going to be some type of maneuver to make everything look better. I can tell you there's no data to support that other than what we look at, and that is everybody pausing to see what's on the next horizon, if you will. And I know you get this question all the time. We've talked about this is, I bought during the heyday of the chaos during 2020, 2021, because I had no place to go. I just needed a property. But after the dust settled, they, while they have a very low interest rate, many times this was not the perfect house for them. Maybe they are now growing a family, looking to expand, or maybe even downsize.
Downsizing.
These are some great opportunities just to recircle that conversation and think if there's an opportunity for us to exit this property and get into something more favorable, just realize there are a lot of buyers sitting on the sidelines waiting to step in for opportunities just like this.
Exactly. And the good news is obviously the values have increased since then. People have good equity in their homes. And, so there's a lot of opportunity for that. And, waiting just means it costs more, at the end of the day in this cycle.
We both believe in like the no obligation type conversation, which is, having the conversation early in the process so that we have an idea what your goals are and we can keep those in mind and keep a lookout for it. Because I would rather my clients and hers be in a ready position so that when the right opportunity arises, you can move quickly, as opposed to imagine everybody trying to do it at the same time. There's very little opportunity at that point in time because now there's a lot of competition. So,
right. Well, we really can move at the speed that you're most comfortable with. Some people, make quick decisions. Some people need a lot of information and education on the market and how the rates work, kind of like what we talked about in the last episode, and just to take their time and be ready. But as you mentioned, be in position, have all your paperwork in order, understand what you need in the event that you do make that decision. And maybe the better decision, once we give you all the information, is to stay where you are. We don't know until we sit down and talk and go over everything. We are more than happy to talk to you. As Matt mentioned, there's no obligation, there's no cost. Happy to give you the information that you need. You can call us, you can email us, you can see our information below, my website and phone number. Feel free to email me any questions that you might have. I'm always looking to answer questions on this podcast, that are submitted by our viewers. So please do reach out, and we'll look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Real Estate Today. Thank you.
Thank you.